Hi guys, this is Whitney, aka Mermaid Sunshine, and today's video is about how I made my spandex mermaid tail. And this spandex mermaid tail is a sling style so that it fits over my Mahina monofin, and as you'll see, it is a super easy mermaid tail style to make. So of course, to make your mermaid tail, you're going to need some spandex fabric. This is just regular spandex that I bought at the fabric store by my house. I decided to go with a tiger print because I figured it would show up really nice in the water. I didn't want to do a mermaid scale because I already have a ton of those, and it doesn't actually show up very well in the water from a distance. So most fabric stores will have spandex, or you can buy it online also if you can't find anything you like in store. You're also going to need to make a pattern. So this is just a whole bunch of small pieces of paper that I taped together, and then I got my brother to trace me from the waist down, and I had the fin on. It's easiest if you make the pattern laying on your stomach with your fin on, and this triangle part at the bottom is what you have to cut out to make the pattern for the sling. So for that, you just trace part way down the fin and then mark where the middle is and then connect it with lines to make the triangle for the sling. After you've done that, you can make your fabric. So you just trace the pattern onto the fabric and then you cut it out a little bit wider so you have room for your seam. Spandex doesn't need to be hemmed because it doesn't fray, it's a knit fabric, but you're still going to need a little bit extra just in case you mess up and need to make it bigger or smaller. Next, the fabric has to be pinned together. Spandex is very slippery fabric, so you have to use a lot of pins. When you're pinning your fabric, take care to make sure you're pinning the bad sides out and the good sides are in the middle together, because you want to sew on the bad sides so that you don't see the seam when you turn it inside out. And you only want to pin to the corner where the sling starts, because you don't want to sew the sling together just yet because your monofin has to fit in there. We're going to deal with the sling later. Before you start sewing, you're going to need to change the settings on your sewing machine. Spandex is a very stretchy material, so you're going to need to change the settings accordingly. Usually machines come with an owner's manual that tells you what the different stitches to use for stretchy material, and my machine has quite a few options. It has a straight stretch stitch, as well as rickrack and a zigzag stitch, and it tells you how to set up the machine for each type of stitch. I decided to use a zigzag because it is fast to sew, and because the other ones weren't working quite as well. I did the stitch length quite low so that the stitch is stronger. If it's a longer stitch length, it might not hold up quite as well. And then I set the tension according to what my manual said. For thread, you can just use a regular all-purpose thread and pick a color that matches the color of your fabric. And here's what it looks like after I've sewn the main body length of my mermaid tail with a zigzag stitch using black thread. Next, I prepared to sew the hem for the sling, so all I did was fold over the extra on the sling and pin it over, and this will give it a nice finished look. After you hem the sling, you're going to sew the points of the sling pocket together to finish off the sling pocket. The last thing that needs to be sewn to finish off the tail is the waistband. For this tail style, it's just a simple folded waistband. There's no elastic needed. All you have to do is roll down the top of the tail skin to wherever you want it to sit on your body, and then sew it all the way around. I also wanted to make a bikini top to match my tail skin, so I took one of my old bikini tops that I didn't like and I painted the straps black using fabric paint. And then I used some extra material that I had left over from the tail skin to make pieces to fit over top that I can just sew onto the existing bikini top to make it match my tail skin.